KZN is officially in its fourth COVID-19 wave. There are concerns over what this means for the province's economy. Premier Sihle Zikalala is on the mission to reassure the international community. He will brief diplomats from 17 countries on the province's COVID-19 response. And eNCA senior reporter Siphamandla Goge is in fact with the Premier at the moment. Sipha, a very important month in terms of tourism. This usually helps the province of KZN, but we have been locked out internationally and KZN is starting to pick up in terms of numbers. What's the Premier saying?
Well, the Premier is about to engage with members of the diplomatic corps, and on the center or at the center of that meeting, the main agenda will be about economic recovery, investment opportunities, business opportunities. Basically, members of the diplomatic corps would want to establish from the Premier what is the plan in KZN in terms of economic growth, investment opportunities, but also to rebuild the economy after the July unrest. But I expect that the issue of COVID-19 and the fourth wave will also feature strongly there. Let's talk to the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Sihle Zikalala. KZN, thank you very much for your time. Let's talk about your engagement with members of the diplomatic corps. What is it that is at the center of the agenda?
Well, we are closing the year, therefore we wanted to engage with them on the progress we have made on issues we discussed. At the beginning of the year, we developed or agreed to work together on some plans, and that include a plan to fight COVID-19 through support from other countries, a plan to ensure that we grow the economy, and that was also reinforced after we suffered the July unrest. You will remember we went to Pretoria to meet with members of diplomatic corps, and we also engaged offices of consular generals, and we have agreed on a plan. Subsequent to that, they participated also in the Africa Intra-Trade Fair, which was highly successful. Now here, we want to engage to a point where we address bottlenecks, where they've got maybe investors who want to come to the country but are frustrated. We want to pay attention and address that. But we also want to start a connection in terms of industries, various industries. You'll find that there is a growth in agriculture, and there are areas that need our product, and therefore we must begin to build a growth of relations at that level.
They would want to also know from your government, how are you going to deal with the fourth wave, which is threatening the economy? It's the festive season, tourism booms in KwaZulu-Natal during this festive season. You announced that KZN has officially entered the fourth wave. How are you dealing with that?
Firstly, we are engaging people, mobilizing them to take vaccine. It is important that all people vaccinate. So we're dealing with these false stories that are making or doing rounds. We are dealing also with propaganda against vaccines, and we would want to ensure that people understand the need to vaccinate. So that's the first. But the last is adhering to non-pharmaceutical measures.
You are the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal. Some are calling for differentiated approach in saying there is no need for a hard lockdown countrywide, rather lock down those provinces that are struggling like Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, impose harsher restrictions in those provinces and in those epicenters like eThekwini. What is your view?
Currently, the provinces that are highly affected will be Gauteng, KZN, Western Cape and Eastern Cape. If you say you want a differentiated approach, lock down on those four provinces, you are like locking down the whole country because of economic activities that are in these respective provinces. Not to undermine other areas, but I'm saying because of economic activities, it will be important to take that. We are not for lockdown, but we want people to understand the need to vaccinate so that they are protected.
The United States of America, the United Kingdom are also joining you here. Their consuls or their consular generals are here. Are you going to raise the issue of travel bans?
Indeed, we will take up that matter. We have always had a good support in terms of tourism from UK in particular and US. Now, we would want to ensure that that is retained. In fact, it should not be about ban only. We will deal with the issue of banning traveling to these countries, but we want to deal with promotion of our product, promotion of tourism. So we are going to address those issues.
I understand that in KwaZulu-Natal, major events will be allowed during this festive season. The question is, how are you going to ensure that they adhere to health regulations, because we are in the midst of the fourth wave?
Major events will be allowed on the basis that they follow strict adherence to COVID-19 protocols. So before we deal with major events, it's a question, when you have an event, it's a question of also presenting a plan to follow the protocols that are in place.
Your provincial executive has received a report regarding the issue of gender-based violence in KwaZulu-Natal and the capacity of the police to deal with cases of gender-based violence. And that report doesn't paint a good picture. It comes from the Department of Community Safety and Liaison. KwaZulu-Natal is one of the provinces with the highest number of gender-based violence cases, femicide, sexual offences and rape. What are you going to do about it?
We are responding to the report. There are plans that are in place. The first plan is to ensure that there is a comprehensive response that is developed from the side of dealing with gender-based violence through policing, from the side of social support, but from the side of ensuring community mobilization against gender-based violence. All of that is continuing. It's a work we are doing as we launch the 16 days on the 25th of November, and we are not ending on the 10th. We are continuing. It is going to be a campaign throughout the year.
Safety season, or should I say festive season safety campaign. KwaZulu-Natal is one of the provinces with the highest number of road fatalities and the issue of violent crime in the province during this festive season. Surely this has been going on for years. Your provincial government, what is it doing to change the situation this time around? Are you concerned that come the end of the year, when numbers are consolidated, the issue of road accidents and crime in KwaZulu-Natal will feature strongly too?
Road fatalities are part of our problems and concerning us, because this period, it's a period where people must go and enjoy themselves with their families. However, it's unfortunate that in some cases people find themselves having lost their loved ones. We are dealing with that. There is an increase in terms of policing. We also have set up roadblocks in all major roads. We are also deploying police all over to deal with violent crime.
Baba, thank you very much for time. Let's release you.
Thank you.
That is the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Sihle Zikalala, is about to undertake or start that official engagement with members of the diplomatic corps in KwaZulu-Natal. There are about 17 countries that are represented here. At the center of this discussion will be the issue of investment opportunities, economic growth, stability in KwaZulu-Natal. What is the province doing to deal with the issue of business certainty? All those issues will be discussed as we take it back to you in studio.
All right, senior reporter Siphamandla Goge in KZN. Let's leave it there for now.